This question's been asked a lot before, so today let's finally decide, is Coke better than Pepsi? So I've got some cool tests planned today with this stuff here, which will help us finally figure out the answer to this. Stay tuned as we'll also be doing a blind taste test at the end of the video. So let's get started looking at acidity with red dye indicator. So we're just going to chop up this red cabbage to help better extract the dye. We'll then pour some boiling water onto these pieces and just let it rest for an hour. So we'll just fill these up with some water first. Now we'll add in our indicator. Finally, let's see which one's more acidic now. So just using this paper to highlight slightly better, you can see the Coke looks very slightly more red than the Pepsi. Now they're both very similar, but I would say that the Pepsi just won this one. So Pepsi's just pulled ahead in the first round. Now let's move on to the sugar test. So before we do our experiment, I wanted to explain the premise of the test to you here. We've got a normal Coke and we've got a Diet Coke. The main difference is that this contains a lot of sugar, this contains a tiny bit of sweetener. Now sugar is very dense, and when it's dissolved in the liquid, it makes it very heavy. So when I let these go, one of these should float to the bottom and the other, which should be lighter, should stay at the top. So let's see what happens. So you can see our heavy Coca-Cola with all the sugar sunk to the bottom, whereas our Diet Coke, which is much lighter and less dense, stayed at the top. So I'll let these go at the same time and let's see which hits the bottom first. So in 3, 2, 1. And you can clearly see that the Pepsi hit the bottom first. So Coke won that round, leveling the score again. Now let's move on to the carbonation test. So for the carbonation test, we've just jerry-rigged the pressure gauge onto a bottle cap here. We'll give the bottle a shake and we'll then read how much pressure the carbonation produces. So starting with the Coca-Cola, let's see what we can get to. So we can see we're around 36, 35 psi. Let's see what the Pepsi looks like. Let's give it a shake. So you can see the carbonation on the Pepsi is much higher. It's well over 40. We only managed to get to 35 on the Coke. So let's do a blind taste test. I don't know which is which. Let's try this side first. Okay. Pretty nice. Let's try this side. Okay, interesting. I would say this side is quite a lot sweeter actually than this side. What's interesting is I feel like the flavour is slightly fuller here and there's almost a slight vanilla-ness to it, whereas this side is slightly more in the front of the mouth and definitely it's more fizzy as well over here. Now I can see them in front of me. It makes a lot of sense as to the flavour profiles I was getting. This side is a lot sweeter, but this side over here is slightly more fuller in flavour. It's very interesting. Overall on the flavour profile, I think I'm going to have to give it to Coke. So now we've done our test. Between the two, who comes out on top? So despite Pepsi putting up a good fight, I just feel that Coca-Cola won today. Coke just feels like the better balanced drink. It's not too sugary, it's not too carbonated, and overall I think it has a slightly better flavour. For this reason, Coke pulls ahead, and in fact that's represented in the volume of sales each year, Coke beating Pepsi consistently. So Coke wins! Very cool! So we got some cool results from those tests. Let me know what other stuff you want to see me try. We can do a whole range of different things. I'm quite excited. I've got quite a lot planned for the next few months. So as always, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment if you did. Subscribe if you want more content like this and I hope to see you next time. Very cool!